So it's been a busy week. We celebrated my birthday and we celebrated Ethan and Noah's birthday. And then we went on a camping trip out to Alice Lake, Squamish. And then we also celebrated Mother's Day. And today we are out here at Pitt River and the kids are boating with mommy. And we're just out having a great time today. Beautiful weather.
Well, if you recall from Secrets Part 1 of 5, we talked about how this world is not your friend and does not want you to be happy. Therefore, do not chase after the things of this world or let the world dictate your passion and your goals. And in Part 2, we talked about how your heart is the core and center of everything that you are, and everything flows out from it. And therefore, you cannot hide what is in your heart. And so it's important to take the time and energy to make sure that you have peace and joy in your heart. Therefore, do not let anything rotten or spoil in your heart. Today, what we are going to do is actually talk about Part 3. And Part 3 says this: nothing is free or easy in this world if it is valuable and worthwhile. Therefore, do not feel entitled to anything, but rather appreciate everyone and everything, including hard work. Let's get into this today.
We live in a very difficult time, in my opinion, with modern technology and how everything is so instant and rapid. You know, at the click of a button, we can have food ordered and delivered to our door. At the click of a button, we can pay off bills and transfer money. It just seems like everything has been made so easy in today's world. And so one of the problems is that I feel like the younger generation, and they might argue that they have different struggles, and I agree. I think growing up in today's world is much more difficult than it was in our time. And so I feel very fortunate to have experienced my childhood in the 80s when I did. I really feel for the young generation now. It's such a difficult world where, you know, we're just bombarded with distractions and just so many wrong teachings. And so today we want to talk about hard work a little bit. Let me tell you a story. We used to live in Korea, and in Korea, when you walk down the streets, there are all these little pop-up tents and sometimes these little booths that are set up. And it's unbelievable because Seoul is a small city, very small city, populated with 10 to 12 million people in such a small amount of space. And so it is crowded everywhere you go in Seoul, Korea. Now, Sandra and I used to go for walks every once in a while, and we would walk around our neighborhood. And every time we went out, Sandra would look for these little pop-up tents or these little booths that were set up. Yeah, and so she would always be so curious and want to go out there and join the lineup. And so she would always tell him, Peter, just hold on 1 second. And then sometimes she would even cross the road to get into line. And sure enough, like 15, 20 minutes later, she would walk back and she had this huge smile on her face, so happy. And I'd be like, what was it? And she'd be like, oh, they were giving freebies. And she would collect, you know, these Kleenex boxes or these pens or these little sticky notepads. And she'd be so happy. And I'd ask her, why do you keep collecting this stuff? And she'd be like, oh, because I like them. Well, eventually we would go home and then she would put them on the table. And 1 month, 2 months, 3 months later, it's just sitting there. And so eventually I would end up just throwing it away. And I would tell her, you see, you don't even end up using this stuff, and you should just stop cluttering our house. Don't collect it. But every time we go out, she would still get it. And, it brought her so much joy. And it was like, whatever. But the point of this story is really that if it is something valuable or worthwhile, something important, it is rarely free. This world does not give out free gifts. You ask all the people who have been very successful in their lives, what is the secret to their success? And they will all tell you that they failed many times. But the key to their success was clothed in hard work and perseverance. And so that's the message that I want to share with you today, is this world will tempt you with a lot of shortcuts and a lot of instant gratifications. The lotto is worth $30 million and everybody flocks to buy their lotto tickets. Why? Because they want to become instant millionaires. And sure enough, of course, there are lucky winners. However, studies have also shown that those winners, within 10 years of winning, have all endured some sort of hardship or unhappiness associated with their lotto winnings. And so it just goes to show you that really the things that are worthwhile, you have to work hard for. And whether it's the simple things like trying to lose 10 pounds. Korea's got all these great infomercials. For example, one of them is like rolling rocks on your stomach, and is supposed to lose your cellulite and your fat. But whether it's working out, whether it's gaining muscle mass, losing weight, whether it's studies, whether it's learning or preparing for projects or whatever it might be, if it is important, if it is worthwhile, it will not be free. And it will often come dressed in hard work, necessary time and energy and thought put into it. It will come dressed in a lot of instances where you will want to give up and throw in the towel. But it's at these times when you can set smaller goals for yourself. Don't look at the end goal. It's like climbing up a mountain. When you go hiking, if you just keep looking at the very peak of the mountain, it seems daunting. It seems unreachable, unattainable, and most people will give up. But if you can learn to set small goals for yourself, look about 300 meters or 100 meters up ahead of you. Look for the next tree and set the goal of making it to that tree. Once you've gotten there, set the next goal of making it to the next landmark or marker. Set small goals for yourself. And what you will find is that sooner or later, you will have reached the peak of the mountain. And it will not have been as difficult or as daunting as if you had just kept your eyes set on that end goal and it seems so far-fetched and so far away that it defeats you. So practice setting small goals, even if it's losing weight. During this COVID time, I gained like 14, 15, 16 pounds, and I started to experience back pains, and the thought of losing that again, it was like daunting. And all I simply did was I set small goals. This week I wanted to run a total of maybe 10K, and then the next week I want to run a total of 20K. In the month of March, my goal was to run 100K throughout the month. For my birthday month, April, my goal was to run 150K. I was going to do it in 10-kilometer increments, so 15 times every second day in April. And had I just set my mind on 150K total, I would never have done that. But having smaller goals, and I was able to achieve my goal, and I've lost so much weight. And so in that same way, learn how to set these small, attainable goals. Good goals. How do you know a good goal? It's something that's precise and measurable, right? Something, don't just say, oh, I want to get good at this. How can you measure good? Think about some quantitative way that you can actually measure. Perhaps, I want to do, 5 sets of 10 reps of this. Set these attainable, measurable goals for yourself. The second thing is make sure that it's something achievable. Don't make it so far-fetched, like I want to lose 20 pounds in 1 month. Impossible. So set goals that are achievable. Set goals that are measurable. And you'll be well on your way to practicing good habits for your life. Well, I hope this helped you. Again, that's my third secret to life, is you have to learn to work hard and persevere, even in the times when you want to give up, especially for things that are worthwhile and important. Until next time, peace.